I'm James Gibney, the Executive Chef of the British Beer Company, and today we are in our Westford pub in Littleton, Mass. A couple of things we've got going on. Pumpkin, of course, you're seeing them everywhere now. Colours are fall, the leaves are changing, so with that, the colours of our food and the flavour of our food changes. So the pumpkin bisque, first thing we'll do is we'll bring in cases of these small soup bowl pumpkins or sugar bowl soup bowl pumpkins, and we'll go through those and hand select the ones that we want to serve the soup in. We put those to one side, and then any that are irregular shapes, we cut those in half, along with sugar or pie pumpkins, which are slightly bigger. Scoop out the insides, the seeds, the pulp, and then we make up our own pumpkin spice with light brown sugar. We season the inside of those pumpkins, and then we put them in the oven and we roast them for about an hour and a half. With the skin on, then we'll take the pulp and the seeds and we add vanilla to that, and we make a vanilla pumpkin broth or stock. Once the pumpkin's roasted and it's nice and tender, you just take a spoon, scoop out the inside of the pumpkin. That goes into a pan, and then we strain the vanilla pumpkin stock into that, and then we just slowly simmer that with a little bit of heavy cream and a little bit more brown sugar and spice, and we just bring that all the way down to we've got this beautiful smooth bisque, and that tender pumpkin just starts to melt in the bisque as it cooks down. And then we'll keep that warm in the kitchen. And then the soup bowl pumpkins, we'll season those with our pumpkin spice, take the tops off, take the scoop out the inside and save that for more stock, and then we'll slowly roast these until they're just tender. And then to order, we'll pop these back in the oven to warm them up, and then fill them full of piping hot bisque. And again, our garnish goes on there, and we finish it with just a little bit of that pumpkin liqueur syrup. It just gives it that extra kick, that extra sweetness. These are very, very popular. We've been doing these now for about 2 years, and typically you send 1 or 2 out, and then that's what you're going to be doing for the rest of the night, is sending out pumpkins. We've taken bangers and mash and a side dish that's very traditional back in England called bubble and squeak. Everything we do is variation on a theme. So what we do is we take mashed potato, our cheddar mashed potato, and we do shredded sauteed cabbage, rendered bacon lardons, a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, fresh chopped parsley, and sauteed carrots, shredded carrots. We basically fold all that into the mashed potato, and then to order we take that and we put it on a skillet, and we cook it on a skillet almost like a hash, but we'll form it back together, so you kind of have this charred, toasted, mashed potato cake, and inside's bacon and cabbage and herbs and spices. And you can make that up. I make it at home for my kids, and I make it up for breakfast. Typically what a lot of people will do is take the leftovers from Sunday roast in England, so take mashed potato or roast potatoes and leftover cabbage and carrots and whatever the veg was. They'll chop it all up, make a hash with it, throw it in a skillet, Monday morning, saute it up, and the bubble and squeak would be, you'd cook this in a skillet or a cast iron pan, super hot, with bacon grease or lard. So as it hits the pan, you hear it kind of squeaking and popping and sizzling. So that's where it gets its name from. So ours, again, it's a variation on a theme, but that's what we serve our bangers over. So our bangers and mash has kind of evolved. So we have that bubble and squeak with it, just to throw a little bit more authenticity into our menu. Steak and ale pie. The ale beer that we use is actually a stout, so it could be a steak and stout pie. It's used as a Guinness infused brown Yorkshire gravy. Inside the pie are tender cuts of meat. We have steak tips on our menu, we have flank steak on our menu, which is like a flat meat. So any of the trimmings that we have from that meat, nice big chunks, we saute those off, olive oil, garlic, salt, pepper, thyme, rosemary, and then in here we have carrots, of course the gravy, some garlic, onions, and that simmers for about an hour. And then we take that mix and fold it into a flaky crust. Our pies are what's known at home as a raised crust pie. So a lot of people are used to pot pies. So you have your crock or your baking dish. The pie filling will be in the middle like a stew or a thick soup, and then and then we top it. It's a pot with a pie crust on top. But when we bake them, pastry starts to cook and they rise up out of it, which gives us this nice, you know, you can see this pie here is nice 2-inch, you know, it's this huge raised crust pie. And this is, again, we're talking about comfort food, we're talking about tradition. In England, you have pie and ale houses, famous brewery Fuller's, and we have Fuller's beer in every single one of our pubs. So again, it's taking some of that tradition, bringing it here to the States and into our pubs, you know, for all of you guys to come and enjoy. Pizza's big sellers in a lot of our pubs. We have 16 signature pizzas, from our pepperoni all the way through to the North End. This was from a chef that I work with every day at the BBC, and he put this pizza together and named it the North End Pizza. This pizza, we have a traditional pizza crust, tomato sauce, garlic, fresh broccoli, Roma tomatoes, and grilled chicken. We have more pizza crusts than a lot of people out there. One of the big things that we feature on our menu is gluten friendly. To go along with the gluten free and this traditional crust, as we call it, we also have multigrain, and now we have a signature beer crust that's made for us from the same company that we get our other dough bases from, and it's a beer infused pizza crust. And you know, we were talking earlier, when you're cooking this pizza, the kitchen is, you know, you go back there and you know, it's like, who's drinking a beer back there? You know, the kitchen just reeks of beer. You know, it's almost like somebody's brewing beer back there. And when it comes out to the table, you can, you know, it's not, okay, it's infused with beer. You know you're eating a beer infused crust because you just sit down, it smells like this warm beer brewing in front of you. We have our own pizza boxes, so you can call ahead or just come into the pub, have a beer and you know, wait for your order. We've got a lot of pumpkin beer on the table now. We have a Shipyard Pumpkin Ale, which is probably the most popular pumpkin beer by now. I think everyone knows Shipyard Pumpkin. We also have a Southern Tier Pumpkin, which is like a smashed pumpkin. And a lot of these pumpkin beers, some of them you'll get more notes of pumpkin spice. It's more kind of, okay, it's a pumpkin beer, but it's more like a seasonal type beer. You're like, oh, I've got the flavors of this season, so nutmeg, cloves, star anise, cinnamon, nut, you know. And then these other beers have a very intense pumpkin flavor, so you know it's been brewed with like a pumpkin mash. There's like somebody's stood there and cooked up pumpkins and thrown it in the beer to brew it. So Southern Tier Smashed Pumpkin, Shipyard Pumpkin, and then right here we have a flight of pumpkin beers that we're pairing up with our dessert, with the pumpkin dessert. And you can go in, and it varies in our pubs. Some pubs have 3 pumpkins on draft. Westford here today, I think we have 4 or 5 different pumpkins here, and they're going to change as we go. So, you know, Shipyard will probably be a staple, Southern Tier will be a staple, and then many of the others are limited releases. So, you know, they'll bring them in. One of these beers is called Rosemary's Baby. Come in and try it, and you may get a sample or a full pint of the beer. On the dessert trio here, what we've done is we've just gone for like a tiramisu mousse that's infused with the pumpkin. So it's a pumpkin tiramisu. Then we have a mini, very cute mini pumpkin pie, whoopie pie. And then right at the other end we have a pumpkin ale infused cheesecake. And that will be a straight vanilla cheesecake in with the custard mix that they've put in there. They'll have made a pumpkin ale custard and fold it into the cream cheese mix with the bacon. And then to finish it off, we've got our candied walnuts, candied pumpkin seeds that of course we've saved from our local pumpkins. We've got our cranberries that are candied, and then the pumpkin liquor sauce on there. So this dessert is very pumpkin-y, very seasonal, very sweet, really puts you in the mood, gets you ready for November, gets you ready for Thanksgiving. With pumpkin beers, there's, you know, our bartenders are coming up with beer cocktails, so they may take a little bit of beer and then they'll take, you know, some kind of liquor like chocolate coffee liqueur that you can have along with your pumpkin beer. So again, it's almost like having pumpkin pie and you know, warm Baileys or something all at once, but it's in a beer. So our bartenders are having a lot of fun with that. Pumpkin martinis too. This is one that we serve here.
Hi, I'm Christine. I'm a bartender at British Beer Company in Westford, and I'm going to be making a pumpkin martini. So how you make it is a little Bailey's, a little bit of vanilla vodka, and pumpkin liqueur. And then shake it. That is a delicious pumpkin.
Talk to the bartender and ask them. They're always willing to give you a little taste before you get into it. We're not a bar, even though we have a bar and we serve drinks. We're not a restaurant, even though we have tables and chairs, a hostess and food. We're not a sports bar, even though we have televisions and we play sports. Again, we're a pub, we're a public house. We're a place to come, eat, drink, converse, have a laugh, drown your sorrows. Whatever it may be, you've got your own reason for coming to the BBC. And as the chef of the BBC, whatever season it is, you know, I can cook whatever I want. So they were talking to me in August, and James, when are we going to see pumpkin specials? I'm like, pumpkin? Well, when they're grown, I'm sure I'll get them to you. But again, it's just a freedom. It's fun. It's not stale. You know, we're in the Westford pub now. We're filling up for lunch. It's Friday. It's not going to stop. We're going to continue to go. It's a beautiful full day. The patio is still open. We haven't got to that, you know, oh, it's the first week in September, close everything down. You know, there's something here for everybody. There's always something new for me. So it's never stale. It's fun. I come to our pubs all the time. I bring my family. I bring my kids here. It's not a job. It's do I own every pub in the company? No, but they are all my pubs.